Hi there, it's Neat. I thought it was about time I came and done a little update on Neets Migration. So basically it's the 13th of March and I've got 1 month to go until I head in for my gastric sleeve surgery. So I'm a little bit nervous. I've tried some of the Opti shakes. I've got to go on a special diet for 2 weeks just to reduce the fat around the liver before I go in for the actual surgery. So I don't mind the shakes. Some people don't like them, but they're not too bad. So basically what I wanted to talk about today was really why I'm doing the Neets Migration, and maybe a little bit more about why I made the decision to go ahead and do the gastric sleeve. You know, even though I'm not grossly obese, I am considered morbidly obese, but anyway, we'll get into that a little bit later. So for me, my depression was brought on by a number of things. One thing which I don't think my husband will mind saying is that he went into a bit of depression after his dad died, and we didn't even know that was the case until someone put us onto the book, the Black Dog. So we had a little bit of a read of that, and we just both sat there and went, wow, this is what your problem is. But from that, working out that was the reason, that he wasn't himself, and he was shutting the world out a little bit. He wasn't, you know, you couldn't get him engaged in a lot of activities and things like that. He dragged his feet around a lot, and in that process I started to get lonely. So in my loneliness I started to go into depression. I went to the gym. I was a gym junkie. A lot of my friends will probably remember the days that I went to the gym every day for about 2.5 hours, and I was crazy into the weightlifting and things like that. And then my back gave in. One thing led to the other. I ended up in spinal surgery. That was a complete success. I don't have any problems with that anymore. Yeah, so I forget where I was going with that a little bit there, but another reason, not just a flow-on effect from my husband's depression. I had things myself happen to me throughout my childhood and into my adult life. You know, I had some experience with mental illness. With mental abuse, which I guess is a lot of people don't think that it's a major thing. You know, a lot of people hear about this physical abuse and women in abusive relationships and things like that, but a lot of it, a lot of people suffer depression and anxiety and things like that as a result of witnessing mental abuse or receiving mental abuse. So a lot of it's unspoken about. I remember through my times I went crazy on Facebook and started putting my whole life all over there, and really it was just an embarrassment to myself to lower my standards to do that sort of thing. But when you're mentally ill, there's just you don't have control of those thought processes. You know, you don't have much control of anything. I used to explain to people, and even the doctors that I went to, that I couldn't think an hour into my past, and I couldn't think an hour into my future. And if anyone said to me, oh, what are you doing on Thursday? Do you want to catch up for a coffee? Or I would just go into a complete meltdown and panic, because I couldn't think that far ahead. You know, I could only think what was happening today, and living in that exact moment. So, but thankfully all that is in my past. It's a place I wouldn't like to go to again. Again, I can't remember what I've talked about in my other videos, but you know, I did have one serious suicide attempt. That whole time I didn't want to die. I just took myself for a drive with some alcohol, got really drunk, and thought that was the best way to finish it all, so that I wouldn't no longer have to suffer. I couldn't shut my brain down. I couldn't stop the torment, the anxiety. I couldn't sleep. It was awful. So I just, one way or another, I wanted it to end. But my self-esteem was that low. I didn't even believe that I would be able to kill myself properly. I thought I'd just end up some smashed up idiot in a ward somewhere that needed a lot of assistance, and I'd just be more of a nuisance on people than what I was in the ridiculous mental state that I was in. So, but moving away from all that, the other time was I was going to do the same thing all over again, only this time I was going to be strong and tough, and I was going to make it. I ended up overdosing, ended up at the hospital. It wasn't a suicide attempt though, and it wasn't even a sympathy attempt. What it was an attempt to rest, I just wanted the alcohol and the drugs to make me sleep. It had been that long since I'd had a decent sleep. I was exhausted, I hated myself, I didn't like everyone else. I just wanted the drugs and the alcohol to numb me long enough to have a long rest and a sleep. But unfortunately it didn't work out that way. I did end up in an ambulance on the way to the hospital, but you know, I was treated like a second-class citizen. I think anyone that has a drug overdose isn't extremely welcome at the emergency ward, especially when you're vomiting and carrying on. Thankfully I did vomit, because that's probably saved a lot of, brought up a lot of the drugs that were in my system. So yes, anyway, we'll move on from that. Now, the gastric sleeve surgery, it's, you know, some people probably think it's a little bit of an overkill. I'm not extremely grossly overweight. I am morbidly obese. A couple of weeks ago I weighed in at 110.4 kilos. I've lost nearly 2 kilos of that just by sort of watching what I'm eating, but watching it all right. I'm eating more than I probably would, because every meal seems to be you know, the final feast before I go in and have the surgery done. I can't have my favourite foods anymore for a while anyway, so every meal's a last supper. Not a good thing. Anyway, the gastric sleeve surgery, the reason I want to do it, to reduce the pain basically in my knees, the fluid around my knees, so that I can be more active. I do spend a lot of time sitting down behind the computer, as a lot of you would probably know, both in my day job and my after work job, and the 3 different things I run from home. But basically I just want to be able to sit down, get down onto the toilet and back up again, sit down in my chair, my office desk, without looking like a retiree or a bit crippled up. You know, I just want to be able to jump out of my seat when I want to. I look as though that I should be able to, but you know, I can promise you the pain in my knees doesn't feel that way. You know, I want to be able to go out and wear a dress without chafing on a hot day. That's, you know, that's a little bit embarrassing to admit, but a lot of the women I talk to are in the same situation. They all wear the bike shorts under their trousers and underneath their skirts, and you know, it's just a great way to be comfortable. I want to be able to sit down without my jeans and my pants tucking into my tummy, and you know, just have a bit of comfort there. I'd like to be able to wear a skirt or a dress that's above my knees. I have a lot of fluid on my knees. I carry that around. I think that's a genetic thing. My grandma had it before me, but I'd love to be able to go out and buy a pair of shoes without, you know, having to, I put my legs up sideways and I have to reach over like that to get to my shoes, especially if they're tie up, lace up ones or anything. That's a bit of a nightmare to me. I'd love to be able to wear a gown. I want to be able to bend down in my kitchen and clean the bottom cupboards in my kitchen, or kneel down in my lounge room and clean out where all my photos are and things like that. And you know, I want to be able to go and buy normal money for normal bras and normal clothes. You know, this is a lot of people who are smaller, petite, fit. They don't sort of, you know, they can wear bigger clothes and still look really nice. But we can still look nice, of course. I mean, I don't think I look terribly disgusting a lot of the time, but just to be able to, I mean, I'd love to be able to go out and buy 2 t-shirts to $15 or something. Like a lot of the clothes I buy, I love City Chic. It's been a lifesaver for me, but you know, you're paying $59 a top, or you know, $100 for a pair of jeans, and God bless them, it's a great service. But I'll just be so pleased to be able to, you know, buy things a little bit cheaper, including sexy underwear. I mean, come on, you know, I'm not past it completely, but yeah, no. Sleep without snoring as much. That's another thing. Oh, here's another thing. I would love to be able to get my wedding band on and off. But, you know, it's probably because I've got such big knuckles, really. But, you know, it would be nice to be able to do that. Not that I want to really take it off, but, you know, polish it up and, you know, things like that. Go-kart riding with my kids. You know, I could go on all day about it. Paint, clean my toenails, ride a bike. Oh, probably got more here. One of the things I'd like to be able to do is hug my hubby really close. Because I feel like we're miles away from one another at the moment. Yeah, another thing I don't like to admit. But anyway, we're being open, right? So there's loads more things that I could tell you. The reason why I'm having it. Health is another reason. I'm not having a lot of problems at the moment, but I can foresee problems if I keep putting on weight. So, yeah, I've rattled off for probably 12.5 minutes, it seems like. So that's a little bit more information on me. I've got loads more I can probably tell you at another time, but I'm going to video all of this. Hopefully you'll want to follow me. I'll keep the videos a lot shorter, of course, probably next time. You might want to follow on and see some suggestions I have, but good or bad results from the gastric sleeve surgery. I am going to video it. If it's a nightmare, if I get bad results, if I get sick, I will get someone else to video it and keep everyone updated. But, you know, on a positive wavelength, I'm going to want to share with you all my great results and how much better it makes life. Even though life is pretty good right now, yeah, I just want to show that it can get even better. And never give up, you know, don't ever feel like you're alone. Please contact me or one of your friends or family or somebody will listen. But don't ever feel like you're on your own. There is people out there that do suffer in silence. I don't believe I was one of them. I was pretty noisy about my suffering, but I was still suffering. Yeah, okay, that's it. Thanks for Neets Migration. Thanks for listening. Sorry I'm not the world's best TV presenter, but this is me, as I am. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Cheers.